This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Hello, joining us today at Stockbox is Richard Conroy, the chairman of Karelian Diamond Resources, as the company has announced that the Finnish Land Court will deliver its judgment on the 12th of August 2024 concerning appeals by two landowners about compensation and mine boundaries for a proposed diamond mine at Lakatoki. Welcome, Richard.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Great to have you with us here. Now, this is a crucial step for progressing the mine development. Could you give us some more details as to what's involved with the judgment, the main stakeholders, their concerns, and how you have made the case to abate those concerns?
Well, under the system in Finland, which is a very steady system, it's slow but very steady. Landowners, when you're developing a mine, are understandably entitled to compensation. And we've already had a major court hearing of the Finnish Land Court and the Finnish Land Survey, and they decided on the compensation that was to be paid to the various landowners concerned. Two of them, and they're absolutely entitled to do so, two of them appealed against the amount. All the others have accepted it, and indeed the overall amount we've already paid to the authorities. But two decided that they'd like to appeal the actual amount, and they're absolutely entitled to do that. And then one of them, the actual boundary of his property. And again, is absolutely entitled under the Finnish regulations to do that. They have a very detailed and very structured process when you're bringing in a mine, or indeed anything else. If we're bringing in a holiday camp, you'd go through the same procedures. So the next step is to hold a hearing of the appeals, and that has just been held. And the court has, as you indicated, stated that it will give its decision on the 12th of August. As I say, it's a slow process, but we're glad to go it steadily going ahead. And of course, we will be looking forward to bringing in a mine at Lakatoki. And we already have from the Finnish authorities took us the permission, the concession to do so, but to establish that concession, as they would call it, the land situation has to be finalized before they can formally issue us with the concession, and then before we can start doing the appropriate work that will lead to bringing in a mine. So we're pleased to see it happening. It's a small part of our overall program, but it's a very important part, and we're delighted to see it moving ahead. We'd love to see it moving more quickly. That's out of our hands.
Yeah. So you're waiting until the 12th of August for the final decision. What are the chances of a favourable outcome?
Well, the outcome is effectively favourable anyway. It's just simply a matter of the precise compensation to do those two landowners. There are about 20 landowners who are involved, and the remaining 17 or 18 have all accepted the compensation and duly received the money. And for these two landowners, the question, well, do they get an extra whatever amount, or does it stay the same? And that's what the Land Court has to decide. So, the outcome, as far as we're concerned, whichever way it is going to be favourable. And as regards the land boundary, that's obviously important. But again, it's just the land boundary on this particular landowner's property. It's not a major change, but obviously it has to be settled before you can go ahead on his property.
Absolutely. Now, at the moment, what's the current state of the project in terms of political potential, economic viability, and further works that needs to be done?
Well, a lot of work had been done on it. We didn't discover this diamond deposit, and a lot of work had been done some years back on it. We were aware of it, obviously, because we do a lot of work in diamond exploration and so on in Finland. And probably had the deposit been in Canada or South Africa or wherever, it would have been long since developed. Finland is a mining country that doesn't have any other diamond mines. So some of the facilities that you take for granted in Botswana or South Africa are not present in Finland. And probably that's why it wasn't developed. One of the previous owners, I think, took out a mine in Lesotho or wherever in southern Africa. But we felt, well, we're here in Finland. We should acquire this deposit, which we did. A lot of work done on it already, and studies indicating its viability. It's relatively small, 2 million carats, not to be sniffed at, but it's not a major world-class discovery or mines such as we're looking for over in the Kufmo area. But nonetheless, but the factor which will affect its financial attractiveness is that it has quite a high percentage of colored diamonds. At the time the previous operators were doing their work, the price of colored diamonds hadn't risen as much as it has. You now pay perhaps 20 or 30 times as much for a colored diamond, a pink one, as you do for a good quality ordinary diamond. And since they're probably about 3% pink diamonds, 7% colored gold in total at Latajoki, that could make quite a big difference to the economics. And to put that in context, Rio Tinto took over a company which had a mine out in Australia, a diamond mine, quite a large diamond mine. But at that diamond mine, of the revenue from it, even though the colored diamonds were only a relatively small percentage of the total number of diamonds, they nonetheless accounted for over 50% of the revenue. That's the Argyle mine out in Australia, which just recently closed. So the presence of diamonds is now very important in modern day diamond mining development and finances.
Well, I have noticed you mentioned in your RNS that you're continuing exploration for this green diamond.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about that. That's fascinating.
Well, we have long felt that in Finland, and we've been in Finland a long, long time. Indeed, we had the then Finnish State Mining Company as a joint partner with us in another venture, a base metals mine that we developed. But so we're very familiar with Finland, and we're very much aware of the fact that the geology in Finland is very favorable for the possibility of a major world-class diamond discovery. In similar geology, probably the second largest diamond mine in the world has been deposited, diamond mine in the world has been discovered. So we've been carrying out an intensive but prolonged discovery process in Finland. And you might well say it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. At times it certainly feels like that. However, we have been tremendously successful. We actually discovered a green diamond in the till. And if I say to you that you take samples of till and you're looking for diamond indicators and all that sort of thing, but to actually discover a diamond is the best possible indication of all that there are diamonds present. Furthermore, it's a lovely little diamond. It's a green one, and that again fits in very much with our emphasis in relation to the importance of colored diamonds in the present-day diamond world. We've spent a lot of time now tracing the source of this green diamond, and we believe, or my good colleagues believe, that we're getting very close to discovering the source, and that could be very important indeed for the company. So we're looking forward. It's very, very exciting, very interesting. and we'll be doing
Wonderful.
more. Well, it's an ongoing program, so hopefully we'll be getting closer and closer.
Yes, well, I do look forward to having you back on and discussing that a little bit more once you make that find. But the RNS notes that the company also can, as you mentioned, continues exploring for diamonds and other minerals in Finland and Northern Ireland. So in terms of the bigger picture, can you just bring us up to speed on this?
Well, it is, as you're implying, to some extent, a very large picture. Indeed, it's not, by the way, unusual when you're using the sort of methods that you use in diamond exploration to come across a nickel discovery. There's one particularly famous one, the Voisey Bay discovery, which is one of the largest nickel discoveries in the world. So some of the methodology that our geologists would and have been using in Finland, when they applied that in Northern Ireland, to the great pleasure and possibly even surprise, they got very, very good results. Ireland is, of course, well known for its production of zinc. We ourselves discovered the Galmoy zinc mines and their major gold discoveries. But nickel, copper, and platinum group metals were really something we hadn't associated with the country. It now looks as though we could be onto, it's very, very early stage, you never guarantee anything, but it now looks as though we could be onto the possibility of a very major nickel, copper, and platinum group elements discovery in Northern Ireland. To that end, after seeing the excellent results we had within one license which we already had, we did a very extensive survey. We've now extended our licenses as we cover 750 square kilometers, and we're doing very, very intensive desktop studies, which will be followed in due course by actually getting down on the ground. And so it's a very exciting project and could be transformational for us if we're successful. Can't guarantee that. You never can in exploration. It's certainly very exciting.
Wonderful. But just to confirm, you're waiting for this judgment to be completed on the 12th of August, and then you can continue the exploration.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, that's what we'll do, go along with that, and we look forward to it.
Yeah, it sounds like it's exciting times, Richard, and we do look forward to, getting you back on and speaking to you in a bit more detail later on. But thank you so much for joining us today at Stockbox.
Well, thank you very much indeed. Nice to speak with you.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.